Hello, this is Sirena Nereida with Celestial Soul Wellness, and I'm going to talk to you about the importance of alkaline and acid pH in our body. Okay, a lot of times when we have chronic diseases, cancer, and all those wonderful things that impede us and give us obstacles and having a beautiful life, digestive orders, arthritis, gout, which is a type of that, reproductive problems, okay, Alzheimer's, let's see, heart disease, anything that's high cholesterol, anything that's going to create a pain or inhibit our body from optimally functioning well is going to be the cause of from acidosis. Acidosis, let me explain real quickly, is the cause of all it. It's the bad thing. Okay, acidosis means there's too much acid in our body or in that area. Now, how do we get acid in our body? Are we opening up that bottle going, ooh, I'm drinking acid? Well, yes, essentially every time you drink a soda, alcoholic beverage. Did you get that? Every time we smoke, okay? Every time we use some kind of recreational drug or even other prescription drugs. You ever notice that when they give you the drug, they'll say, oh, but be aware that this and this can happen, this and that? Why am I taking it again? So, anyway. Okay, so acidosis is because we have a lot of acid in our body. How does acid get into our body besides us intaking it directly? Well, let me tell you, our body, for it to function inside, because it needs to have a certain temperature, right? So it can work. Well, our organs need a certain environment so that way it can function. The heart, boom, 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 boom. And the liver and the spleen, okay, and our kidneys here, the liver, spleen, stomach, right down the food, okay, and then it goes down the tract and down. Okay, very important. Why and how all that is very necessary to understand is by what we put into our body is going to create either acid or alkaline. Now, some foods are alkaline based, and when it goes in our system, it'll stay alkaline based. Other foods go in our system and create acid in our system. All right. Other foods could be, let's say, if we combine two alkaline ones and we put it together and it goes into our body, it can create acid. So we have to remember something could be alkaline and something else could be alkaline, but putting it together, going into our body, does not create an alkaline. Kind of like two negatives don't make a positive, except if you're doing math, right, and multiplication. Okay, well, that's the case here. It's not multiplication, it's not math. All right, so we need to also understand that certain things too, when we do not take deep breaths, when we do not exercise, when we are not around fresh air on a daily basis, and when we do not ground ourselves, when we are very stressed, those are ways we create acid. Now remember, our pH balance has to be at 7.0 to 7.2. Okay, so that is the ultimate optimal, the grade one that we want for our pH balance. Anything less than 7.0 is going to be acid, and that stuff is going to collect in our body and in certain areas. Where it's going to collect in our body astrologically, we could talk about that later. As a astrologer, a master in astrology, I can look at your chart to see where your weaknesses are. Outside of that, let's go back to this. Okay, and so that acid will collect. Now the problem with acid, guess what lives and thrives in acid fluid? Malignant cells. Malignant. Those of you who know any Latin based languages, your Spanish, Romanian, your French, your Portuguese, and your Italian, mal means bad. Ooh, not good. Like malicious, okay? Well, those malicious bad cells are cancer cells, and they love and they thrive and spread, okay? And when we are not taking care of our body and we continue to do what caused that in effect. Like some doctors say, oh, don't worry, you got cancer. Well, look, we're going to put you on chemotherapy, this and that, but they don't put you on a nutrition value. They don't tell you how to change your lifestyle. Obviously, what you've been doing has created this bad, malignant, acidic fluid with yucky cells eating you up from the inside out. Yet they want to cut you open and say, you're okay, keep doing it again, so that way in 5 years we'll do that again with you. Is that really having a good quality life? Okay, remember, now a lot of people say, well, what do I care? I mean, I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to get hit by a car. You could be eating all raw and being all perfect, but you're going to die anyway. True, true, true. But it's not necessarily the longevity, the quantity of life. It's the quality of life that's important. And when we are having an alkalized base and system going on within us, we are going to be happier, we're going to feel more energetic, and we're going to have a higher frequency going on with higher consciousness, which makes us more compassionate, more loving, universally loving, less fearful, more giving, and less arrogant, egotistical. And so that is what's really nice, and it helps us stay grounded too. So those are very all full of acid. Those are the people who are going to be criticizing, negative, okay? Now our body tells us when we're hurting and what we've done to ourselves. You ever have acne come out? That tells us what part of our body is wrong. You know, when you do get a massage and you feel that, oh, wait, my hand is sensitive there. Your body is saying that organ connected to that energetic line, which I call freeway systems, or also known as meridian systems, and is saying that organ is messed up and full of waste and toxins. Our eyes, ooh, look into my eyes. Anyway, look into my eyes and tell me what you see. Our eyes are a gateway to our soul, which says how we've been treating our bodies, okay? Now, our feet have those pressure points also. And not just the acne here, but we can really, really, really feel. You ever give yourself a massage? Our teeth even can tell us what is wrong with us. You have a knot in a certain area? Have you checked your gallbladder? Going, well, it was because I was carrying those boxes. Well, if that's the truth, then all you have to do is some stretches and you'll be good. Now remember, how to get rid of all that? Get rid of the acid from your body. Put in more alkaline. Remember, alkaline is produced by oxygen. Oxygen, which comes from also water, that H2O. Okay? How do we get more oxygen in our body? Deep belly breaths. We should be doing at least 10 an hour while we're awake. And those are the ones that we do for 5, 5, 5, I call it. And that's going to be breathing in for 5. So we're going to go into your stomach, by the way. So let's start over. Hold for 5. And release for 5. Now remember, we breathed in through our, we took the breaths in through our nose, and we breathed out through our mouth, okay? And we held it, and we having it into our stomach, very important, because that's where our solar plexus are and our root-based areas. And when I say stomach, it's really our abdominal region, not our stomach. Our stomach's much higher, where our rib cage is right there under our rib cage. Okay, so we're looking more in the abdominal region where our intestines are. And it's very important, because then when we're releasing, we're expanding our heart chakra and our throat chakra and releasing all those toxins, okay? Another way to do it is by doing daily activities that require a lot of breathing and stretching: yoga, qigong, tai chi, martial arts, swimming, walking. Make sure you're doing these activities silently and focusing with yourself. If you're doing it, you're not talking with anybody else, because you cannot deep breathe while you're talking. Look at me. Do I look like I'm deep breathing right now? No. Okay, but I'm going to later. So understand that. Okay, when you're talking, you're and you're not in the moment, you're not really focusing, and the quality of exercise, the quality of what you're doing is more important than the quantity. I see so many people who I go on walks every day. They're like, I go walks and I walk more than you do. How come? I'm like, well, because you're on the phone. Because you're talking with so-and-so. You're creating negative thoughts. Unfortunately, it's true. You're not focusing on being in the moment and all the beauty and abundance around you and the fresh air and the greats of the world. So continuing on now, another way is drinking enough alkalized water. Remember that a lot of tap and bottled water, it has fluoride and calcium. So get an alkaline machine, or I do know Fiji and Evian are the better ones, but really the rest is dead water, serves no purpose, creates more acid in our body, and it collects and get us and makes us bad. So just like when you boil the water, it needs that residue. Yeah, exactly. Imagine what it's doing in us when we have that temperature in us, that nice warm temperature. Another way too is by grounding ourselves and de-stressing. Better yet, don't get stressed in the first place. When we get stressed and we behaved in a stressful manner, we're really honestly saying, okay, and don't think I don't get stressed. I have to put myself on check being a life coach, okay? What we're really saying is, I find this situation threatening. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know if I can adapt to it. And I don't know if I'm worthy. And I don't know if I'm going to be okay with it. And if people are still going to love me if I mess this up. Wow. Think of all those things. Think of every time you get stressed and really think about what is going on. Well, I don't know if I can do it. Well, what does it matter then? Well, I don't know if they're going to want to hire me or if they're going to want me to be around anymore. Well, what do you care? Well, because of lack of love, power, surrendering to that. So really what you want to do is learn to be flexible, be grounded, flexible, be honest about your true authentic self, okay? So get some dancing there, laugh a lot. You notice when we laugh, we just take in a lot of air and we give it all out. When you work out, also exercise. Try and exercise out in the open, because how many trees have you seen there in the gym? Trees need our carbon dioxide, our toxics and waste there. They don't, okay? We do not need other people's. Everybody who goes to a gym is sweating and breathing out their carbon dioxides and their toxins and waste, and all we do is breathing it in. Seriously, are there any oxygen bars or pumps going through? No, there aren't. Yet you're breathing all that in, and then you're wondering why you got more acid in your body. There you go. Yeah. And then all that negativity. Also, too, allowing people to dwell in their negativity and complaining and just not dissuading them to change the subject is really not good also, because that's more or less an accessory to, suicide, murder, because they're hurting themselves. So you want to really go, well, how am I going to let it all out? You don't need to let it all out if you didn't allow it to get in the first place and change your perspective. It's really, really hard. I know I'm not perfect. We all fall back on it, and it's difficult, but we got to really try for the best, so that way we have a better quality of life for us, with our family members, our loved ones, and just so that way we're always in a state of happiness. Okay, and then perhaps too we'll have a longer life if accidents don't interfere. Okay, and it's a better state and quality of life. Again, this is Sirena Nereida with Celestial Soul Wellness. Thank you for watching and listening. Ta-da! Chasita.